to the Postman beginner tutorial series. In our last video, we explored why Postman is useful, how to install it, and got familiar with its interface. Today in tutorial 2, we will take our first big step into API testing, and that is creating real API requests using get, post, put, patch, and delete. By the end of this session, you will know exactly how to interact with an API like a pro, even if you have never done it before. So let's get started. Last video, we understand how to install Postman on your system. As I have already installed it on this system, I just click open it. And this will be the interface you will see when you open the Postman application. Now today in this video, I will show you how to test APIs. For that, we will use a free public API called JSONPlaceholder. This is the API name that we are going to use today. It's actually built for blog posts, but for our example, we will imagine that each post is a book in our bookstore, and suppose we are the manager of that bookstore. Now, for example, we will use different keywords, and those keywords will be user ID. This user ID will act as a author ID for the book. Then we will have ID, which will be the unique ID of each book. Then there is title, and title will be our name of the book. And then last is our body, which is actually the description of the book. So there will be different keywords: user ID, which is the author ID for us, ID, which is the book ID, title is the book's name, and then body is the description of the book. Now let's start by adding a brand new book to our catalog or to our store. For that, we will use the post method and provide details like the title and description of the book. For that, I have to click on it. Either we can click on new or just click on the create new request. Let's click on new, and then you have to choose HTTP method. As we are creating a new record in our database, or you can say we are adding a new book to our catalog, we have to choose post. Here you have to copy paste or write down your API. Now I have already copied it, the free JSON placeholder API, so I will just paste over here. After this, we have to send all the detail of the book that we are going to save in our database. So what we have to send to the database? Title, that is the name of the book. Body, that is the description of our book. Then the user ID, which is the author's ID. You can say anything in title. Tutorial 2. And then user ID, which is the author ID. I can say anything, like suppose I'm sending 1 to 12 as the user ID. Now I have to click on send. Once I click on send, the server responds with a new ID, which is 101, and with a status code 201 created. That's confirmation our book has been added successfully to the catalog. Now notice that when I create a new book, the API responds with ID 101. That's JSON placeholder simulating a new record. But if I try to fetch the data of this ID or the detail of this book, it will not return anything, or it will not return any data to me. Why? Because this API is a fake service just for practice. It only mimics create, update, and delete actions, but it doesn't actually save changes to the database. But when you will test in real world the APIs, the data would persist and you would be able to retrieve it after creating. So in real world API, if you will try to fetch the data of this book 101, you will get all these details in return from the server. But for beginners, JSON placeholder is perfect because it let us practice all the HTTP methods without setting up our own database or own server. Now let's jump to the demo number 2, that is for get method. Let's look up one of the books by its ID. For that, again we have to click on this new button or just click on this create new request. Now what we are going to do, we are going to fetch the detail of our book here. So for that you have to use method get. Get is for fetching the record in from our database. So as it is already selected, I will just keep it as it is. Then again you have to copy paste your API here, and I have already copied, so I just pasted it over here. Now because I want to fetch the detail of our book number 1, suppose, so I will write down /1. If suppose I want to fetch the detail of book number 100, then I will write 100. But for now just keep it as 1, and then I will click on this send button. And here is the book information, the author ID, the book's unique number, and its title and description. Notice that server responds with 200 OK status. That means the server successfully returned the data. You can see the difference. This request is also successful, but it returned 201 because 201 is used for successfully created data and 200 is for successfully fetching the data from the database. Here you can see the user ID, which we are assuming as our author ID is 1. Then ID is our book ID, which is again 1. And then the title of the book or the name of the book. And here is the description of that book. In this example, this ID is actually unique because this is the book ID. Now suppose I want to see the detail of all the books that are saved in our catalog. So what I will do, I will just remove it and I will click on send again, and you can see there are multiple records. And here you can notice that the ID is unique. This is 1 2 3 4 5, but this user ID is could be repetitive, like 1 1 1. At the bottom you can see 4 5 4 3. Okay, so this user ID could be used again, but this is the unique ID, and the title and the body are um, the name of the book and the description of that book. Now suppose I want to fetch any random number. So suppose I want to fetch this book with book ID 35, and you can remember this, the name and the description of the book. So I want to fetch 35 number book, and the user ID or the author ID for this book is actually 4. So I will write 35 because the book's ID is 35, and then I will click on send. And here you can see the user ID or the author ID of the book number 35 is 4. The title is the same that we just saw, and the description of the book. So this is how you can use the get method to fetch the detail of any record in your database. Our demo number 3, which is the put method. Suppose there is a scenario where a publisher released a new edition of his book and he wanted to replace the entire book record. How can we do that? For that purpose, we will use the put method. How can we do that? Again, you have to click either on new or just click on create new request. Now as we are going to change the entire record of that book, so we will use the method as put. Again you have to copy paste your API. Now one more thing, because we are going to replace the record of a particular book, so we have to send the ID of that book to the database. Suppose we want to replace the record of book number 12. Okay, now with this 12, we with this uh, book id, we also have to send the other information that we are going to replace. So suppose I want to replace the title, description and author of the book. So there are two ways. Either I can write the key value pair like the title, and in value we will send the book name, the updated book name. Or we can click on body and then go to raw and JSON, and here I'm showing you a different way to do that. And then you can write the keyword here. Both work same. So just keyword and then the value of that. So suppose this time I want to say the book title is for API testing, comma, and then another keyword which is the description of our book, and the keyword for description is actually body, and this is the updated description of the book. And suppose the author id has also changed, so I used user id as 1. Suppose now we have to click on send, and clicking send replaces the whole book with this new information. That's what book does. It expects the full object. And here again you can see the response from the database is 200 requests successfully. The server has responded as required. So you can see the detail of the server has responded with the detail of the data that has been replaced. Updated book title, body of the or the description of the book, and then user id has been changed, and our unique id of the book will be same. Now suppose I want to edit a book partially, like I want to just edit the title or the uh, name of the book. How can we do that? For that we will use the patch method. Again click on the create new request, change to patch, and copy paste your url here. Now again we need to tell the database which record we are going to update partially, and to update the record we have the unique id of each book. So suppose I want to update book number 19 this time. We also have to send the data that we are going to partially update. Again I'm clicking on raw json, and I just wanted to update the title of the book or the name of the book. Okay, so please update the book title, and it will be updated for the book number 19. Let's click on send. Here you can see the user id is 2, id of the book is 19, and the title has been updated, and the description is same. I can match it with our previous data. So in our get method we saw that if I will show you the whole data, you can see here the id number 19. For book number 19 the user id is 2, and this is the description of the book, and we can match it from here. id is 2 and the description is same, but the only change that has been made is the title of the book. This way you can update partially the data. Now finally sometimes book goes out of stock or get discontinued. In that scenario we have to remove the record of that book from our store or from our database. Again, to remove the record of any book from our database we have to click on create new request, and from the drop down we will choose delete method, We will again copy paste our URL. I have already copied it. So this is the URL. Now suppose I want to remove the record of book number 3. So I will write down 3 and I will click on send. And here you can see the server responds with 200 OK but no data. So this no data actually shows us that the record for book number 3 has been deleted from the database, and the uh, status code 200 actually tell us that the request has been successfully submitted. And there you have it. We have just managed our bookstore using Postman. Using post, we added a new book. Using get, we fetch the detail of one or multiple books. Using put method, we replaces a record. And using patch method, we make small edits or just partial update to any book record. And at the last, we deleted the whole record of a book from our database or from our catalog. This is the complete CRUD, that is create, read, update and delete cycle in API testing. In the next video, we will take this further and learn how to use query parameters and authentication in Postman. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more testing tutorials. See you in the next session. Thank you so much.